On both. The live has happened. We are in there like swimwear is so they say. Today we're talking concussion with Natasha Wilch. Look at super loud in the background. Super loud. That's I think what I usually do. Yeah, one of the two. If there's echoes, hey guys, well as Natasha comes on, let me know if there's echoes. Those of you guys who are in here in this area over here on that camera, let me know. And then those of you guys, hey, good day. We're gonna see if Natasha if she can come in. Hold on, we're gonna get you in here and we're gonna have a little Friend Fridays. That's what I used to call it. But I've only brought like 4 friends. 3 friends? Maybe 3 friends. I don't know. Bring a friend Friday. Oh, the camera's off. Hold on, I gotta fix the camera. The camera works. Hold on. Technology and tripods. I think that'll work. Oh, look at that. Perfectly good. It's like I'm a pro or something. It's like I've done it before. Welcome, everybody, to Bring a Friend Fridays, because I bring friends. I got a lot of friends, and I will call Natasha a friend. Natasha started out as a client years ago. Was it a years ago? I can officially say years ago now.
We can. It was 2019. Well, yes, 2019. After Influencer.
It was 2019. It's because of 2020's weird gap. It does. It feels awkward. And real quick question, those of you guys who are listening, how's the audio? Because every once in a while we get a little bit of weird like audio stuff. Carrie Ann says, I need my Anthony Trucks inspiration today. Carrie Ann, how's it going, man? Let me know what's going on. We want to give you some love today. Today we're talking with Natasha. So a couple years ago, I did a presentation. Natasha's one of the people in the audience who was like, hey, this guy's cool. And I was like, I know, he is kind of cool. And she reached out. We started working together. She has since created some damn cool stuff in her business online in the world. She is a master at understanding, honestly, post-concussion syndrome and concussions. She says, someone says Natasha has an echo. That's why I asked these questions early on.
Yeah.
Sometimes
what do I have to do on my phone?
Do you have the audio on your, let's see, on the phone. I don't know. What I usually do is I usually have people plug into the phone, and then you turn the computer volume down. Your volume down. And Natasha.
There we go.
Maybe that'll work.
Is that better?
That sounds better to me. No, I'm echo. We'll figure it all out. Hey, life will go on. If you guys let us know, but I want to have this conversation because today we're going to talk to people who may have experienced something called post-concussion syndrome, which is where you have a concussion. You get we in college used to call it, or football called it, a mushy. I don't know if they call it a mushy now. You ever heard it before?
That's a new one for me, to be honest.
Really?
Usually it's like you got your bell rung, you got a shiner, you like conked your head. A mushy's a new one.
No, we used to call a guy to get a mushy, like, hey, bro, you got a mushy? And seriously, what it was. It was like, because I assume your brain get knocked around, your brain gets mushy, so we called it you got a mushy. It was just super weird, but it worked out for us. So do me a favor. Give me a rundown of 2 things. One, who you are, right? So people can get a chance to kind of fill out who you are without me giving the insight, because I'm only one person, and I only know part of you. And the other part is, like, what in the world it is, like, you do. Who are you? What do you do? In your own words.
In my own words.
Now she has no words. Now she's all quiet. Now we can't hear her because all of a sudden the internet dropped.
There we go. Am I back? I am also like the tech black hole. My name's Natasha. I'm a physical therapist up in Western Canada. And so I own 2 companies. So I own Symphony Rehab, which is a brick and mortar rehab clinic where I work with people who are on their recovery journey from concussion, whether it's acute concussion or persistent concussion. Mm-hmm. Together with Molly Parker, we are the founders of what we call Concussion Compass. So basically, I work and help people who are struggling with persistent concussion symptoms in both my businesses recover and regain their life back. That's like the one-liner. And we do that either in clinic or via our online membership.
I like it. And people, I just think, I think people assume that only people who have like sports injuries get concussions. And it's interesting because like there's a woman that I've talked with that I think you kind of directed towards me for business. So she was like a singer, I want to say, and like someone for like the tuba or something fell on her head. All of a sudden we got a concussion, right? It's people that slip and fall, or we get in car accidents that are every day is a car accident, right? These things happen. And this is a conversation I think we all need to have, because I think sometimes people are unaware they got them. Sometimes I guess there's got to be a great depth of people who are like, I didn't know what was going on. So tell me, like, how can somebody be aware, even if it's a mild concussion, what does that feel like? So someone today might be like, oh, dang, I got a mushy.
I'm never gonna get that. I'm never gonna get that out of my head now. You know, I did an Instagram post a long time ago about I didn't know I had a concussion because, and it was mind-boggling. One of the biggest things was because I don't play sports. And so like huge myth in that sense, right? The other thing was my symptoms didn't show up right away. Huge thing with concussion. So concussion symptoms, and there's a slew of them, but your common ones, so you can break it into like physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, physical symptoms, cog, and then anxiety and sleep. So I just repeated some of those there. But like dizziness, headaches, light and sound sensitivity, nausea, feeling off balance, irritability, mood changes, all those things, that's like this much of the symptom scale.
That makes sense.
Can have a concussion, but if it does, couple myths. So one, you don't need to hit your head, right? So people always, no. So all a concussion is, all it is, but it's a force, a jolt to the body or a biomechanical force that causes an acceleration, deceleration motion of the head. So like whiplash. And this is why, like, I think football, like you don't have to nail your head, but you get a solid hit and your head goes all over. Car accidents are a huge one. MVAs are a really big one. Falls are a really big one. And then you get those workplace injuries where stuff falls on the head. So it's the actual hit to the head, but you don't need to hit your head. You don't need to lose consciousness.
Wow.
That's the other one. Like a small, like maybe I think it's 5 or 10% of people actually lose consciousness. And your symptoms don't need to show up right away.
That's crazy. So you can have a concussion multiple different ways. I mean, this is me in a bad spot. I'm like, I wonder if like you'd have like a really like rough sex episode, all of a sudden get mushed up and be like, what in the world? Why am I hitting? You could. That was, you could. Welcome to Friday, everybody. It's Friday. You better have some fun, but don't bust your neck all up. So you have, this is actually pretty cool because I didn't realize that. I thought about it, like car accidents, I figure, okay, I can, have this kind of thing going on. So if I've got this going on, I got this dizziness, I got all these things, kind of experience. How do I progress? Because here's the thing, I don't know, like, to be honest, outside of you, I don't know of people that do this. I just know, like, you go to the doctor, like, I got a headache, doctor, they say, go home and sit down and don't do anything. If somebody's experiencing this, like, who do you deal with? Like, do you call, like, yourself only? Do you sit home and do, like, what do you do, actually? Because I know that if this is going on, it's a chiropractor, it's the doctor, or it's medicine, but there's nobody that says, I'm going to help with your concussion that I typically know of.
Yeah. And so that's a huge piece of what I'm trying to do is like, need to change that awareness because so many people like yourself, they go to their doc and the typical advice they get given is go sit in a room. It's one of two things. It's either go sit in a room and just wait and wait and wait and wait, which is not what you do. Nothing happens. Or it's, if you feel all right, go back to work tomorrow, you'll be fine. And then people just flare like crazy. So both of those are really shitty pieces of advice. And they last. These things can last for a while if you do that kind of stuff. They do, right? So 80% of people will recover in this normal time period, which for adults is, I say a month. Symptoms will usually start to disappear around 10 to 14 days. Just because your symptoms are gone doesn't mean your brain's recovered yet. Just like if you sprain an ankle, just because the pain's gone, you still have to do that strengthening and that rehab to get you back to where you were. Think of it that way, right? So with an acute concussion, yes, we need to rest for the first 48 hours. So cognitive and physical rest up until that point. But then it's a gradual guided reintroduction to activity, to work, and to life. So we know now that this prolonged period of rest and rest and rest and rest actually is going to make your recovery longer and harder than if you are guided by someone who actually understands the process. And so when I say someone who understands the process, usually, like, you need to find your general practitioner, although they might have a good heart, they're usually not trained in concussion. They have to be trained in, they have to be able to identify a bunch of different things. So working with someone who concussion is their focus and their specialty and what they do a ton of, that's who you want to connect with. So that can be people like me. So I'm a physical therapist. That can be chiropractors. That can be, there's a whole bunch of professions. There's naturopaths, there's osteopaths, but physical therapy is usually one of my like go-to because our scope of practice is so broad. If we can't help you, we can usually guide you to who can. And a huge piece of concussion, if you think of how that actually happens, which is that acceleration, deceleration, the neck is always involved. Not almost always. The neck is always involved.
Yeah.
So physical therapists can also, they can tackle that, but they can help you with these other things and guide you on the right path. My thing is don't sit there and do nothing, but don't jump into things too soon, because either is not how you actually want to handle it.
I like it. And we're talking concussions today, people. This is called a reset. So everybody who just showed up was like, what in the world are these people talking about with necks and craziness? And so Natasha is I want to say world-renowned at this point in time in terms of what she does. She launched a couple of programs, one where she served during the pandemic 400+ businesses and kind of got their businesses virtual, which is what she does as well. She has a company called Concussion Compass, where individuals with post-concussion syndrome who have concussions now, they work with her virtually. She has something called a Symphony Clinic, which is up in Canada. She got an award last year. Was it Excellence in Leadership in British Columbia?
Yeah.
Damn, look at right? I got a good memory of some stuff, and that was after you get Entrepreneur of the Year in 2019,
2017 was Entrepreneur of the Year.
See, I was almost the year. I got the second time around. I got the year. So she's good at what she does. We're not just rambling. So I apparently don't have a concussion at the moment. Jerome Sadler, good morning. He says we got had many concussions during sports career. I'm dealing with the repercussions today, 13 years later. Ooh, this is good. So what can Jerome do 13 years later to help kind of take care of this brain if he's still experiencing stuff?
Yeah. So the big thing is it is never too late, right? It's never too late to get your body in shape. It's never too late to make improvements in your health. It is never too late to help your brain and improve your brain health either, ever.
Gotcha.
So it depends on, ultimately, truly, it's finding someone who can do a comprehensive assessment. And part of that, I would say, Jerome, it would be part of what is your challenges as well. Because depending on your challenges, I would guide you a bit differently on who you might want that comprehensive assessment to be. So if your issues are more like, I'm still having like crazy headaches, and I'm still dealing with dizziness, and I'm still dealing with like my balance is kind of funky, I feel kind of off, my memory is kind of crappy, you could start with someone like me or a physical therapist who can do when I say that, it's like I do a system-wide assessment. So our brain has all these, like we have our vestibular system, our visual system, and all these things that need to connect and talk nicely to each other. And when they talk nicely to each other, that's what lets us speak. That's what lets us have memory. That's what lets us walk and do all these things. Yeah. When those systems don't play nice, you get symptoms. So if it's symptoms more like that, then you might start with that to figure out what's off. If your symptoms are more things like depression, anxiety, the issues like that, you might start with someone there might be neurofeedback you look at. So neurofeedback is a QEEG. They do a 3-dimensional brain map. And they look at how the electrical activity of your brain, because there is a normal. Mm-hmm. And what we'll find with people who are either really anxious or PTSD, or people who are like ADHD and that sort of thing, that electrical activity will have changed. But you can change it back. You can train it. So depending on, I think the big thing there is know that it's never too late to have change. Know that there are providers, whether we look at nutritional aspects, whether we look at lifestyle habits, whether we look at hormones, metabolics, brain waves, things like there's so many pieces, but connecting with someone who has a global understanding of what that picture could be could guide you appropriately so you know where to begin.
Yeah, it's big. And I think that it's crazy because as much as I know that, a lot of people that are athletics have these concussions, I'm not gonna lie, I fail to comprehend how many people are not athletes that just have regular everyday slips and spills.
I think it's over 3 million concussions diagnosed in the US a year.
Wow. That's a lot of concussions. I didn't even think about that.
Right? And so here's the thing, 80% of it, what's 3 million times 20%? I don't do math. I use a calculator for everything.
I don't know. It's going to be like 600,000.
Right? Like so 20% of people will develop persistent symptoms. And those persistent symptoms are anything that goes longer than that normal recovery period, so months to years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's no joke right there.
It's
a lot of people.
It is.
So we've had this cool conversation about concussion syndrome, which I think is something we are all experiencing. How often does this, I guess, affect like mood, life experience? So my question is, I guess, could somebody be in the middle of life right now experiencing it as it is and just like they just think they're tired or just think that they don't have the ability to focus and they're completely unaware this is going on?
Absolutely. So it's funny when you think back to things because it's not always dizziness. It's not always headaches. So one of the other things is fatigue is a big one, mood, anxiety, depression, all those sorts of things factor into it as well. And I'll say one of my concussion clients that I saw, which isn't the common reason, but his actual reason with coming to see me was because he was struggling mostly with mood and anxiety. And the reason he came to see me instead of someone else is because we knew he'd had a concussion. Like, it was very clear that we knew he'd had it. And so we put him through my workup and we could work him. And then when we did that, like, his anxiety resolved. Again, I don't normally say I treat anxiety because it's not the typical thing, but for him, really. Where it means is, like, going back to your question, is he didn't have headaches, dizziness. So it was showing up in his everyday life a year later as anxiety.
Interesting.
Right? So it can always be, and Doc Amen does this a lot. So Dr. Amen of the Amen Clinic, so he's amazing. And he does SPECT scans. So he'll, like, take this SPECT scan of your brain and, like, point out where things are. Have you done it?
Yeah, I've been to his place twice. Yeah.
Oh, I totally want to see your SPECT scan. I didn't know that.
It's somewhere. I gotta dig it up. I got weird little pictures with colors on them and rainbows and stuff too. Yeah.
That's so awesome. So in his intake, like, when they intake your clinic, they ask you 10 different times if you've ever hit your head or ever had a head injury. Because they're relating that, like, they want that full, like, life history, because this stuff will start to show up later. Yeah, we know that, like, those repetitive multiple head injuries over years increase your chance of dementia and Alzheimer's and later in life. Yeah. Right? So there's so much research coming out about it. But
I have, when I did it, he was able to see, like, childhood trauma from, like, foster care and grade. He's like, I could tell you were linebacker because of all the damage, the prefrontal, like, the lobe of my brain. And so essentially it was like, your brain is like physically 50 years old. When I was like, it was like 30. It's like physically 50, just so you know. He's like, but cognitively you're just fine. So I have, like, this brain and body max pills that gives me to heal the brain back. And it's interesting is, it's funny. I talk to some people like, oh, Dr. Amen's a crackpot. And then and then the other side, people are like, oh, he's a savior. And I'm like, I don't know what to listen to, but I do know that I looked at pictures that were done by the same machine. I took 2 tests, and one test, I had a few little holes. When I came back 3 months later after doing this stuff, I had way less holes. So the brain's healing is all I can say based on the SPECT scan that I've saw. So we can go back and forth and say all of a sudden, like, oh, this doesn't work. But what I do know is it does. It happens to work. In my case, it did. And I feel, to be honest, I feel less foggy. That makes sense. A lot of it is oxygen with the brain, things I take, supplements. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you and find out more about themselves or how to help, let's say, I don't know, maybe in their life, maybe they got someone in their life they know is kind of like dealing with this stuff, and they're like, man, we need to get this person some help, and they don't know how to do it. Like, they could just, like, now click a button and send the video to them, this one. Where would I have people get sent? Is there a website? Is there an inbox? Where do I put people?
So right now I'd send them to since you're on most people are on Instagram, so send them to my Instagram.
Well, the world right now.
I was like, hold on, we are in multiple places here.
Yeah, we are.
I'm on a computer. So Instagram is probably the best and fastest way to get a hold of me. So it's at natasha.wilch. And if you happen to click on my bio right now in Instagram, the first button you can choose is a chance to register for a free training with us. So if you are listening, or you do, like you said, if you know someone, share this conversation. But we are doing a free training to help people with persistent symptoms decrease their symptoms and regain their life. That is what we do. That is our mission. That's our whole passion and our purpose behind everything when it comes to concussion. So Instagram, best way to reach out. I will respond to every message, so never hesitate to send me a DM ever.
Awesome. And if you're on Instagram, just go find her, because you're on Instagram. Don't get lost. It's
you can simple. Email me too. So my email is Natasha. No, it's not. That's not my email. Wrong. That was my Symphony one. Hello at natashawilch.com.
Boom. So, hey, look at me knowing things.
You got it. And I am that's my personal email. I check it all the time as well. So you can connect with me either way.
I like it. And you guys are on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or Periscope. If you guys look on the screen, you'll see natasha.wilch. You can actually, that's her Instagram handle. So head over there and check her out. Outside of that, man, I've had a blast chat with you guys today. Has this been useful? Not even useful. Yes, useful one, everybody. But two, do you guys like Bring a Friend Fridays? I'm always curious, because I come on and talk and chat and share all day, but it's just me talking to the camera and talking to these people out here. But I'm always curious, like, would they appreciate me bringing more people on Friday morning? Because I do know that there's a lot of people that always ask, like, hey, can we do stuff together? And I'm like, yeah, we can do stuff together. I'm like, we do at the Odd Shift podcast that drops every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But I'm like, I love the live streams. It's cool to have quick chats and go, RSD Will says possibly. So we'll just see. And if not, life goes on. Carrie says yes, so upbeat. Oh, see, now we got to do some Bring a Friend Fridays. All right, you guys got to send me some ideas of people that are my friends or should be my friends. Maybe we'll bring them on. Outside of that, thank you so much, Natasha, for hanging out with us. You guys go check her out at natasha.wilch. I'm going to get off this because I got to record my Shift Starter Daily podcast. If you guys don't know about it, last plug, if you listen in the mornings to anything, it should be the Shift Starter Daily podcast. So every day
it's a good podcast.
Oh, you listen to it too?
I've been on it.
Oh, you have? Oh, no, you've been on the Off Shift podcast.
Oh, yeah, you changed it.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't change it. There's two of them. I got one that said the interview. I've been getting it done. I do the interview podcast with cool people. Then I have what's called the Shift Starter Daily podcast. 8 minutes every morning. I pop on. I just give today is a good episode. It's me telling people how much I love them. And it's pretty much you like that. If I want to mix it, it's just not like you individually, but it's like people in the world, you guys. So it's shiftstarterdaily.com. I highly recommend you get the text message reminder portion. It gives you all the texts you need and reminders in the morning. And then it's 8 minutes, always less than 8 minutes. And you get some good love in the morning from my voice to your earlobes and hopefully to your hearts. That's it. That was my last share. You guys enjoy your day. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you all on the flip side. I'm out.
Bye.